Next on CTN News.
Thank you. From the bottom of this heart, thank you.
Several local citizens honored for helping save a victim of sudden cardiac arrest. Plus, Fridley marks the 50th anniversary of one of the worst tornado outbreaks in Twin Cities history. But first,
it's intended to drive one simple goal: find employment opportunities for people with disabilities.
A bill 15 years in the making takes a big step forward at the state capitol. That tops CTN News this Friday, May 8th, 2015. Thanks for joining us. The Olmstead Plan gets its name from a 1999 U.S. Supreme Court decision. The state of Georgia was sued for unnecessarily institutionalizing people with disabilities.
Now, all states are required to write an Olmstead Plan, which allows people with disabilities to live and work in the community of their choice. As CTN's Jenny Yu tells us, the Senate recently passed a bill that tackles the unemployment portion of the plan.
I have two adult daughters with disabilities. One receives a wide range of support services and the other gets very little.
Bob Brick wears many hats. He's a father who says inclusivity can be a problem for people with disabilities. He's also the president and CEO of Ally People Solutions.
Essentially, we provide employment and life skills training to people with a variety of abilities and challenges.
Now, thanks to a bipartisan bill, supportive employment agencies and day programs like Ally would get grant money to integrate people with disabilities into the community.
Olmstead decision of 1999 said people with disabilities have a fundamental right to live within the community, to work within the community, to be free just like the rest of us.
Senator John Hoffman of Champlin is a longtime advocate for people with disabilities. He's the chief author of the bill, creating the Olmstead Training Grants Program.
If you have a disability, chances are you're going to be twice as likely to be unemployed as anybody else is going to be unemployed. What I wanted to do was establish a bill that said it's everybody's concern, it's everybody's involvement that needs to look at what we're supposed to do for people with disabilities.
The bill asked for $750,000 for the first 2 years. That money would be given to organizations like Ally and Achieve Services in Blaine to help people with disabilities get a job that doesn't pay a special minimum wage.
We're driven by one simple goal of attainment of a job, and when that happens, then I think we can show that this is the right direction to go.
In St. Paul, Jenny Yu, CTN News.
Right now, the bill is in the Senate Conferencing Committee before it moves on to the House. Hoffman says he expects it to be signed by the governor before the end of the month.
Construction work continues on Highway 10 in the city of Ramsey. On Tuesday morning, Armstrong Boulevard was closed north of Highway 10 following rush hour. The road will remain closed until late October, so crews can build a new interchange at Armstrong Boulevard and Highway 10. The interchange will feature 2 new bridges that will carry Armstrong Boulevard traffic across Highway 10 and the BNSF tracks. That will help reduce congestion and delays due to railroad traffic. Closer to home, commuters in Coon Rapids ran into a roadblock this week on Egret Boulevard. Egret was shut down at the double railroad tracks to allow crews to make emergency repairs and smooth out the ride. Similar repair work was done to the tracks on Hanson and Foley last week. Egret Boulevard was expected to reopen to traffic by this evening. No surprise here, traffic congestion continues to grow in the Twin Cities metro area. According to the Minnesota Department of Transportation, congestion on freeways increased to 21.1% last year, up from 19.9% in 2013. Congestion is defined as traffic flowing at speeds of 45 miles per hour or less. State transportation officials say the average Minnesota commuter spends 34 hours a year in congestion. With no new transportation investment, that's expected to grow to 45 hours by the year 2025.
The fire department is urging residents to use caution following 2 weekend fires that were preventable. The first fire broke out on a second-floor balcony at the Woodland North Apartments Saturday afternoon. Authorities say a resident placed cigarette butts in a planter, which then caught fire. Fortunately, the fire was contained before it could be spread to other units. The fire department advises residents to use a metal bucket to discard of those cigarette butts. Another fire broke out Sunday afternoon at a home in the 11,000 block of Xavier Street. Investigators say an unattended candle sparked a fire in the basement. The family was able to make it out safely, but the home suffered significant damage. The fire department credits working smoke detectors and advises residents to switch to the LED candles, which are much safer.
50 years ago this week, the area experienced what is considered the worst tornado outbreak in Twin Cities history. On May 6, 1965, a total of 6 twisters touched down in Minnesota, 5 of those in the western and northern metro. In all, 13 people were killed and nearly 700 were injured. Fridley was particularly hard hit, with homes, schools, and businesses severely damaged. Alan Taylor, who was 5 at the time, wrote 2 books on the tornadoes.
The worst part of the storms was how many came through. You know, the odds of a tornado hitting in an area is astronomical, but to have 3 come through and virtually on the same path is unbelievable. So a lot of people were crawling out of the debris, and you're in shock, and then here comes another one, and then here comes one more. So by the end of the night, you know, they were scarred for life.
A special remembrance ceremony was held at Fridley High School Wednesday night to commemorate the 50th anniversary. We have more on the 1965 tornado outbreak on this month's edition of Community Close-Up, including interviews with some of the survivors. 8 citizens who helped save a man's life after he collapsed at the Coon Rapids Ice Center were honored this week.
They were each presented with an Outstanding Citizen Award from the Coon Rapids Heart Safe program.
The way you guys reacted, handled yourselves, it truly made a difference, and because of that, a wife still has a husband and 2 kids still have a father.
The certificates were handed out during Tuesday night's City Council meeting. 45-year-old Bill Hoppenrath went into sudden cardiac arrest while playing a pickup hockey game back in March. His teammates jumped into action doing chest compressions before shocking his heart with an AED from the arena. Their quick actions saved Bill's life, and he thanked his rescuers this week.
There aren't going to be enough words I can say to you guys. This was supposed to be a lot easier. I hope that for years to come I can still repay you guys, because it means a lot to me to skate with you guys.
Bill's family also thanked his 8 rescuers: Wayne Anderson, John Dilly, Pat Olson, Mike Vatko, Dan Larson, Mike Johnson, Greg Lashevsky, and Matt Wells.
The city will be hosting 2 open house events next weekend. The first takes place Saturday, May 16th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Public Works Garage. Residents are invited to come check out the snowplows, tractors, and other big rigs used in the city. You can also tour the Public Works facility and learn more about the Coon Rapids Recycling Center. The open house is free and will be held rain or shine. The second open house takes place Sunday, May 17th from noon to 4 p.m. 6 homes that were recently remodeled as part of the Home for Generations 2 program will be open to the public. Homeowners, contractors, and city staff will be on hand to answer questions and explain the different loan programs available to residents. A list of participating homes can be found on the city's website. Last year, hundreds of people turned out for the Coon Rapids Home Remodeling Tour. Still to come on CTN News, some ideas for those interested in growing their own food.
Plus, a new community theater production opens this weekend. Also ahead, an opener to remember for the Coon Rapids Andover American Little League. We'll take you to the first ever opening night under the lights.
It's very quick to do, and it's really easy to come out and just try it and give it a try for once and see if you like it.
And a new version of golf being kicked around on the greens in several metro communities. More on the foot golf frenzy when we return. If you've ever thought about growing your own food, now might be the perfect time.
The Coon Rapids Sustainability Commission is offering a 3-part workshop starting next week. On May 11th, the topic will be Your Yard, a Food-Producing Paradise. Hear from a local woman who grows her own food. On May 13th, the topic is Local Food for Dinner 365 days a year. Learn more about farmers markets and community-supported agriculture programs. And on May 18th, the topic is Permanent Raised Beds, the Permaculture Way. Learn how to build, mulch, plant, and maintain raised beds using permaculture principles. All workshops are from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the Coon Rapids Civic Center.
The Coon Rapids Andover American Little League marked a big milestone last weekend. Last Saturday, they held the league's first ever opening night thanks to the installation of lights at Sand Creek Park. Photojournalist Blake Johnson gives us a look at the festivities.
This would be our 56th season.
In the hole, boot it. I think it's going to be great.
For the first time ever, we were able to install lights on 2 of our fields.
All right, throw in the heater now.
Gives you a lot of flexibility for makeup games, and it also allows us to host some, hopefully some district tournaments, which also brings in revenue to help pay for the lights.
Oh, they're going to love it. They're going to think they're in a big league stadium.
And we want the mayor to throw out the first pitch.
All right. No, in the
Nice. Turn that key up there, Steve. I just can't say enough about everybody that has pitched in to make this league the success that it is.
The Little League loaned money from the city to install the lights. In addition to allowing more hours for games, the Little League will be able to host a district or state tournament every season, bringing in more revenue.
While many golf courses have seen a decline in rounds played in recent years, some in the area are finding new players using a bigger ball and no clubs. CTN's Joe Nelson hits the links to find out how the sport of foot golf could be an answer to some golf courses' declining numbers.
The Majestic Oaks 9-hole executive course was quiet on a cloudy Wednesday, with few golfers out hoping for birdies. 2 staff members got out of the clubhouse and onto the fairways to play, but left their clubs and tees behind.
I was intrigued when I saw the setup on the executive here.
Last year, Majestic Oaks became one of the first foot golf courses in Minnesota.
Basically, it's golf with a soccer ball.
The rules of the game are generally the same as golf, with penalty strokes for going out of bounds or into a water hazard, and no drop kicks are allowed.
Foot golf got its start in Europe, then spread to California, then Minnesota. Like traditional golf, it has par 3s, 4s, and 5s, but rounds go much quicker.
It's about twice as fast as regular golf.
Although it may be less stressful than golf, players say excelling at foot golf still takes practice and skill.
Breaks a little bit right, I'd say probably left side of the hole.
Just kind of grasping the concept on how it's going to break and how it's going to roll on the grass was a little bit of a challenge at first.
The biggest surprise was probably how much fun people have with it. It's brand new to Minnesota, brand new to Majestic Oaks, so it was cool to see people of all ages come out and really enjoy it.
Foot golfers are asked to let traditional golfers play through, but they share the fairways at the same time.
Not every golfer has loved it initially, but I think everyone understands why we do it. And when they try it, they really like it.
With many courses struggling to fill open tee times, foot golf is a way to drive in new players.
They can come out, see what golf is all about as well, and maybe transition into actually playing traditional golf as well.
In Ham Lake, Joe Nelson, CTN News.
Green fees at Majestic Oaks are $8 for juniors and $11 for adults, with soccer balls to rent for just $2. For a list of courses, go to footgolfminnesota.com.
Community theater comes alive this weekend and next in the Coon Rapids Civic Center. Coon Rapids Community Players is presenting the comedy Here Come the Brides, May 8th, 9th, and 10th, and again on May 15th, 16th, and 17th. There are both evening and matinee performances. For more information, log on to CoonRapidsCommunityPlayers.com. You can purchase tickets online or at the door prior to each performance.
Sofia Vergara and Reese Witherspoon star in a new comedy out in theaters this weekend. Howie Shapiro has a preview in this week's Now Showing.
Do you know who Vicente Cortez is?
Yes, he is the top lieutenant in the cartel. He is known as the Bank of Bogota, the Tender, the Lender, the Money Launderer, El Chapo, the Pork Chop,
Okay. Tomorrow morning, you will escort our witness to Dallas so she can testify against Cortez.
Mrs. Riva, we have got to get going.
Look at you, you're teeny tiny. You're like a little dog that I can put in my purse.
Hot pursuit. An uptight and by-the-book cop tries to protect the outgoing widow of a drug boss as they race through Texas, pursued by crooked cops and murderous gunmen.
You do not know anything about me.
I have seen your underwear.
I like a lot of coverage.
It's no underwear, that's a diaper. I know everything I need to know.
They tried to seduce me with some lesbian stuff.
I am her lover. Ooh la la.
But I'm a Christian, so I wasn't interested in that.
I'm Howie Shapiro, and that's what's showing.
Thank you, Howie. And finally today, we're saying goodbye to one of our team members here at CTN.
Photojournalist Drew Shingen is leaving us for a new adventure.
Can I ride in the fire truck?
No.
Nope, it's not for a career in the fire department. Drew proved on the show Community Close-Up that he wasn't cut out for that. He's actually staying in television, but has taken a full-time job as a photographer and field producer for Twin Cities Live, which airs weekdays on KSTP. Our loss is certainly their gain, and we certainly wish Drew all the best in his new position.
All right, that'll do it for today's show. Good luck, Drew, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you again next week.